think that a couple of years ago, and when this was first fresh out there was a lot of volatility. And I think that, to Doug, to your point, it's just kind of worn things down. I've never been a fan of Live. I don't think it's great. And I think that there's even rumblings on that side. But as John mentioned, there's no end in sight right now on a possible agreement. And I think it's because the PGA Tour feels like they have the upper hand. But when you would look in years past, Rahm and Scheffler would be going back and forth. Scheffler would win one week, Rahm would win another. And you would have these top players all leading up to this point. It's the fracture of golf is still feeling its effects today. If Liv ends up dwindling and other guys come back and figuring out a way, I think that will change. But I think that right now that's a reason, and that's why you're kind of, Doug, not interested, because of now this watered down effect of these two entities that are split.
Yes. It's just golf tournament after golf tournament. It's too much to keep up. I know most of the players that are at the top, but it honestly, it's a little bit of NBA, ABA. None of us were alive, or we were alive. I don't know if I was alive to remember it, but it just, with golf struggling to break through without Tiger anyway, it makes it much harder for it to strike through. So cut through.
I think if you look back, like the football analogy would have been in the mid '80s if it actually would have worked of Steve Young, Bruce Smith, right? All those guys. Golf, unlike football or any team sport.
Number one on your car radio preset and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. WINCA in Miami, WMIB FM HD2 Fort Lauderdale. Free never sounded so good.
1-0 pitch. Stowers cracks that one out to center and deep. Siri is back. He looks up and it's gone. The Marlins waste no time. Kyle Stowers with a 2-run shot, and they take a 2-0 lead in the first.
Miami Marlins baseball is on deck.
2-1. That kicks away from Rodriguez. Hill breaks for the plate. There will be no throw. And on a wild pitch, the Marlins walk it off again. 1-2. Conine lifts out to left field. Tommy Pham working back to the warning track. So is Sawinski. They look up and it's gone. Griffin Conine to left center. And we're tied at 2 in the 7th.
Marlins on deck. Brought to you by ADT, the official smart security partner of the Miami Marlins, and Norwegian Cruise Line. Experience more at sea. Let's head out to the ballpark. Here's your host, Steven Strong.
Well, nice job, Ricardo. Welcome from Citi Field in Queens, New York, on another chilly and windy 44-degree Tuesday afternoon in the Big Apple. 17-mile-per-hour winds. You're listening to Miami Marlins baseball on the radio. Game 11 of 162, Fox Sports 940 Miami. This afternoon, we bring you Game 2 of this 3-game set between your 5-5 Miami Marlins and the 7-3 New York Mets. Connor Gillespie will get the nod this afternoon to make his third start and second start against the Mets in 2025. Gillespie will go opposite Clay Holmes, who makes his Citi Field debut this afternoon, and who just saw the Marlins last Wednesday tossing 4 2/3, surrendering just 2 runs. It was supposed to start at 7:10 tonight. We got the bump up to 4:10, and that's when we will begin first pitch right here on the Marlins Radio Network. Hi, everyone. Thanks for making Marlins on Deck a part of your Tuesday afternoon with Jack McMullen and Craig Minervini. I'm Steven Strom. Got a cool show for you ahead. We'll hear from Connor Gillespie. We'll also hear from Marlins pitching coach Daniel Moskis. Jack McMullen, our very own, heads down to the clubhouse as well to have a conversation with Matt Mervis, who continues to swing the ball really well on this road trip. 2 home runs in Atlanta, a hit yesterday, and a walk in New York. We'll get you at the count with Gillespie and Holmes. Of course, Jack and Craig will jump in for some back and forth, our Expo question of the day, and Steve's guarantee to victory. It feels like every spring a gem reveals itself. And this year, that was 27-year-old Connor Gillespie, a 9th-round pick of the Orioles back in 2019. His first 5 appearances in the spring, he not only didn't give up a run, he didn't give up a hit. And with the situation of Ryan Weathers and Edward Cabrera unfortunately occurring, Gillespie put himself in a position to snag a spot. He made his first career start on March 28th against the Pirates, then really shoved against the Mets on Wednesday with 5 strong innings, punching out a career-high 6. Again, he's only started a couple of games. Marlins pitching coach Daniel Moskos spoke with the media on Sunday morning about what's been notable about Gillespie.
I mean, just an ultimate competitor. He's really, really good about what's the plan of attack, what are we doing in the bullpen, what do we need to improve, what do we need to be better next time out. He's just really, really pragmatic about things. Super competitive on the mound. Love like being in the game with him because he's a bulldog. And I mean, just love how he goes about pitching. He's crafty, but he's also got some pretty good stuff too.
All right, so that was Daniel Moskos, Marlins pitching coach. Now let's talk to the man that's been working with him, Connor Gillespie. Connor, how has Daniel Moskos helped you?
Yeah, he's been great for me. I think just the way he coaches, it's really right up my alley. And I learn best from the way he does things, just as an analytical standpoint. Like, I understand the edutronic. I understand, like, the game plan. I had a double-A coach, Forrest Herman, and he was very analytical with the Orioles. And so he kind of got the ball rolling for me that way. And then Mosk is kind of very similar. So I felt like they can relate in ways. And for me, it's just works well.
All right, so that was Connor Gillespie on Daniel Moskos, and it's been interesting with this pitching staff. We've talked about the analytical side of this staff, but to give you an example, we had conversations with the pitching coach on what they're doing differently from a training perspective. And they said even in spring training in these sim games, they're telling their guys, their arms, if you throw a ball on the first pitch, you're automatically down 2-0 in the count. Just kind of hammering in their mind that they have to throw strikes. Connor Gillespie being one of those guys, he's going to throw strikes. He's not going to walk a lot of guys. And he does come from a really good school in VCU. It seems like him and Moskos are on the same page, and they're gelling. This entire staff is gelling with Connor Gillespie and a couple other arms in the rotation that continue to get that reinforcement and those tidbits that maybe they didn't have before. So it's awesome what we've seen from Gillespie. We'll see if he can do it again. Tough enough to do it against the Mets. Even tougher when you start to get film on the guy. He'll get his second start against the Mets in his third start of 2025. Plenty more ahead. Matt Mervis, he joins us next with Jack McMullen on the Marlins Radio Network.
Mientras tanto,
Extra base hit in a Marlins uniform. First pitch, Mervis crushes out to right. Kelnick is back. He's looking up, and it's into the chop house and gone. Matt Mervis with the tone setter in the first. A 2-run homer, and the Marlins up 2-0 right away. Serving as the backup catcher right now. 1-1. Now on a bouncing ball over to third base. Paulie has it on to second for one. On to first in time for the double play. Nearly a shift beater. The lefty bat Baldwin bounced one over to typical shortstop positioning. That's where Graham Paulie was.
Line drive, that's a base hit. And there's the first Major League RBI for Liam Hicks. Have a night. And the Marlins lead 3-0.
Baseball season is 18.
There's another drive by Mervis, deep to right field. That ball is gone and way out of here. Have a night, Matt Mervis. His second homer as a Marlin. A solo shot here in the top of the seventh.
Whoa. Family looking on. They're loving it. 104 off the bat. 421 feet to right center field. Mervis in Miami. Start to dig it.
A lot of firsts for you today. You had your first extra base hit, your first RBI, your first caught stealing, your first multi-hit game. Which one was your favorite?
Probably first win behind the plate. I'd say that's the most important. So I'd say that was my first, that was the most important thing to me, and I was really happy with that.
What if I told you last year you were in Double-A, that a year later you would be navigating this lineup, shutting them out with the help of your pitchers, of course, and having an offensive game like you had today?
It'd be pretty hard to believe you, to be honest. I know what I'm capable of, but obviously that's a little, you wouldn't really believe it. But
that's in USA. Restrictions apply.
Back here on a 44-degree Tuesday afternoon here at Citi Field. We were supposed to play at 7:10. Thank the heavens we're playing at 4:10. It is cold. It is windy. Connor Gillespie will go opposite Clay Holmes here this afternoon. Marlins on deck, Steven Strom, Craig Manervini, and Jack McMullen. Got a chance to really see Matt Mervis this week have a nice road trip. So far, so good. 4 for 9, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, and a walk. Our very own Jack McMullen got a chance to chat with Matt Mervis and what's been working lately with
All
Mr.
right, Steven.
Mash.
Matt Mervis really hitting the ball hard. Did it hurt at all when you hit that ball 104 yesterday? Was it too cold for that, or did it feel like nothing happened?
Felt good. It was on the barrel, so no pain on that one.
Good for you. You were just telling us coldest game you ever played was in Buffalo as an Iowa Cub. I'm thinking college because you were a DMV kid, right? You were Baltimore, that area. All right. Anything in high school? Did you start the high school season in February?
Yeah, I think my first game of varsity, it might have been a scrimmage, first game, whatever it was, there was snow on the ground. And actually snow while we were playing. So that might be the coldest one. I don't remember the temperature, but it was brutal.
No snow today, just gale force winds. You'll be fine. Hey, I'm curious about, obviously the offensive get back that you had in Atlanta. The multi-homer day was excellent, and then hit a ball really hard yesterday. What's going on the last few days that maybe wasn't clicking for you at that first homestand?
Just continuing to work with the hitting coaches. The focus right now is just staying over the ball better and making sure my posture is good. Letting me get to those pitches that are moving away from me that the other teams have been throwing. Really just trying to put myself in a better position to swing from.
We talked a little bit in spring training about load, right? You were loading a little bit earlier, and that was giving you more time. Where do you feel like you're at in your load going into the swing?
Feels good. It feels pretty consistent. Getting started earlier, I think, helps with that. It gives me more time to get into my spot. Timing is everything. So just trying to get that out as early as possible and then focus on the swing.
From the ghost fork to the kick change, a lot of pitches have weird names, but Clay Holmes, interesting beast today, loves getting contact on the ground. What's the plan of attack just for you against a guy like Holmes?
Got to get him up. Like you said, he wants the ball on the ground. So anything moving down at the bottom of the zone is really hard to get in the air. So, everything he throws, I want to start a little bit higher in the zone and try to keep him off the ground.
Sweeper, I'm curious about that one too, because lots made of this new changeup that he's throwing, and it's good, but obviously a new pitch he's going to struggle to land it in the strike zone a little bit. That sweeper, how easy is it for you to pick up, and what's the plan of attack against that if he gives you a heavy dosage?
Sweepers they move so much that they have to start in a spot that no other pitch does. Like for me, it's way off the plate as a left-handed hitter, so really I'm able to set my sights over the plate for most other pitches, and then hopefully just recognize the sweeper if it starts way out in the other batter's box.
Merv, last one for you. You still beat up after the Final Four loss for your Duke Blue Devils, or what?
Yeah, that was a tough one. It was, I checked on the bus. We were up by, I think, 13-15, and then got back to the hotel just in time to watch, the last couple minutes. So that was tough.
Matt Mervis, appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
All right, Steven.
It's interesting. Good stuff with Jack McMullen and Matt Mervis. Would you rather have had that game, or would you rather have been Houston yesterday against Florida, where it looked like you were going to raise that championship, and then all of a sudden Florida had other ideas? And I don't want to say choke is maybe a little bit too hard because it is the national championship, but a tough loss in general. Now, a couple of things that Matt Mervis talked about, staying over the ball, but particularly with Clay Holmes today. Holmes has a 67% ground ball rate. That is going to be key offensively. The Marlins were shut out yesterday for the second time in 2025. We saw what they did on Monday when they were shut out by the Braves 10-0. They responded in a big way. They got action early on the base pass. And remember that first inning, that could have been a no-run inning with Xavier Edwards trying to tag up from second to third. Brian De La Cruz threw him out. We ended up getting a Matt Mervis home run that sort of bailed them out and kickstarted the offense. We'll see here if Miami can get it going early against Clay Holmes for the second time. They'll see him the second time here in about a week. We'll get you ahead of the count with Gillespie and Holmes. Next, going to be a 4:10 first pitch right here on the Marlins radio.
Extra base hit in a Marlins uniform. First pitch, Mervis crushes out to right. Kelnick is back. He's looking up, and it's into the chop house and gone. Matt Mervis with the tone setter in the first. A 2-run homer, and the Marlins up 2-0 right away. Serving as the backup catcher right now. 1-1. Now on a bouncing ball over to third base. Paulie has it on to second for one. On to first in time for the double play. Nearly a shift beater. The lefty bat Baldwin bounced one over to typical shortstop positioning. That's where Graham Paulie was.
Line drive, that's a base hit. And there's the first Major League RBI for Liam Hicks. Have a night. And the Marlins lead 3-0.
Baseball season is 18.
There's another drive by Mervis, deep to right field. That ball is gone. and way out of here. Have a night, Matt Mervis. His second homer as a Marlin. A solo shot here in the top of the seventh.
Whoa. Family looking on. They're loving it. 104 off the bat, 421 feet to right center field. Mervis in Miami. Start to dig it.
A lot of firsts for you today. You had your first extra base hit, your first RBI, your first caught stealing, your first multi-hit game. Which one was your favorite?
Probably first win behind the plate. I'd say that's the most important. So I'd say that was my first, that was the most important thing to me, and I was really happy with that.
What if I told you last year you were in Double-A, that a year later you would be navigating this lineup, shutting them out with the help of your pitchers, of course, and having an offensive game like you had today?
It'd be pretty hard to believe you, to be honest. I know what I'm capable of, but obviously that's a little, you wouldn't really believe it. But yeah, I mean, awesome job by the pitching staff. Just absolutely total confidence in them. Throw any pitch, anytime. It's really fun.
Let's get in
on the Marlins radio network.
Well, it's good to hear from Derek Hill. He's back in the lineup, batting seventh here tonight and playing in center field. Whatever it means for you, Derek Hill, when he starts, the Marlins are 4-2. It's been 10 games. I get it. Steven Strom, Craig Minervini, Jack McMullen. Let's get you ahead of the count. Actually, you know what? Before that, I do want to give you some injury updates. The three-headed monsters that are on the IL right now, Declan Cronin, Connor Norby, and Jesus Sanchez. So Declan Cronin, he did throw a live sim today, 20 pitches. Sanchez did face him 3 times. Clayton McCullough said to us that Jesus Sanchez hit a home run in the sim against Declan Cronin. Connor Norby continues to swing and move on the field. You got to expect here sooner than later that these guys are going to go on a rehab assignment. We will keep you updated. Let's get you ahead of the count now. We'll start with Connor Gillespie, 27-year-old right-hander from VCU. He is no stranger to pitching in the cold. He comes into this afternoon 0-1, a 3.60 ERA over 10 innings pitched. He'll make his third start of the season and his second against the Mets in 2025. He did not factor on Wednesday against New York, allowed 1 run on 4 hits over 5 frames. He struck out a career-high 6. Again, he's only started a couple of games, so take that how you want it. 73 pitches. He will face a familiar lineup this afternoon. When he faced the Mets on Wednesday, the only individual that is not going to be in the starting lineup is Jesse Winker. Starling Marte will DH this afternoon for the New York Mets. So Gillespie's going to face 8 of the 9 hitters that he saw last week in Miami. Gillespie will go opposite Clay Holmes, 32-year-old right-hander, converted all-star reliever turned starter. He'll make his third start. And his first here at Citi Field, he's 0-1 with a 2.89 ERA over 9 1/3. He also did not factor on Wednesday, allowing 2 runs, 1 of them earned on 6 hits, 2 walks, 4 2/3, 6 Ks against the Marlins last week. Again, he will make his Citi Field debut. 10 career games against Miami. He's 1-1 with a 3 ERA. And again, he is a converted reliever in that spot, in that role last year with the Yanks. 67 appearances, a 3.14 ERA, and a career-high 30 saves. So Gillespie will go opposite Clay Holmes. We'll get my 2 buddies on, Craig Minervini and Jack McMullen, on next as we get you ready for Game 2 of this 3-game set between the Marlins and the Mets on the Marlins Radio Network.
This guy slugged over 400, had a 290 batting average. And he's kind of picking up where he left off last year. 1-0 pitch. Edwards hits that deep enough. Out to left. Ji-Hwan Bae underneath. He makes the catch. Fortes trying it. Ji-Hwan Bae's throw coming home. And it's a little bit offline. Fortes comes in to score. And he ties the game at 1. Inning. Runs may come in here in the 6th. Marlins threatening. And Derek Hill lines one out to right center field. Sawinski on his horse. He won't get there. That one hops over the wall, and it's an RBI double to tie the game at 2. Any ball in the outfield. X is scoring, and that one is soft liner into center for a base hit. X coming around. Cruz's throw is coming home, and the same mistake from opening day. Otto Lopez takes second base. X was scoring no problem. He can fly, and the opportunistic Otto Lopez not only ties this game, but is now in scoring position. Well, you've got Santa Rosa Junior College, 20th round pick of the Royals in 2016. And Sawinski cracks one out to left field. The newly inserted left fielder Conine is back. Warning track and the wall. He leaps. Griffin Conine makes the grab. You're kidding me. He took a homer away from Sawinski. Pitch, that's rolled right side, that's through for a base hit. Pham gonna try it from third. Throw coming home from Myers. It's on line. Hicks swipes the tag, and they got him. No. In the bottom of the seventh, it's an RBI single from Otto Lopez to tie it at 3. 1-2 pitch. That's rolled right side. That's through for a base hit. Pham gonna try it from third. Throw coming home from Myers. It's on line. Hicks swipes the tag, and they got him. No.
7724 test now.
As a pitcher, I'm moving pretty good and I sweat a ton. I don't think I have a problem staying hot, but I enjoy playing in anything. Train your whole life for this, so I'm going to go out there and give it my all, you know. I'm not scared at all, just kind of lay it all on the line every day.
That was a little bit of an evil laugh from Connor Gillespie. I know he enjoys playing in the cold again. He did play at VCU. So we will see how he fares here. It's 44 degrees here at Citi Field. Steven Straub, Craig Wintervini, and Jack McMullen getting ready for Game 2 of this 3-game set. Marlins looking to bounce back. Okay, we saw Connor Gillespie last week. Really nice performance, 5 innings, 6 Ks. What's the biggest hurdle now facing this Mets team for a second time in a week, Jack?
I mean, I would say Juan Soto, but I'll stick with the vets as a whole in this lineup. And the reason I say Juan Soto is he has a swing tailored to handle 4-seam fastballs at the top of the strike zone. Like, that's why this guy is a top 5 hitter in Major League Baseball. And Connor Gillespie, the reason that he is a good Major League starting pitcher 2 turns through for the Marlins is he has a really good 4-seam fastball at the top of the zone. So the new strength among starting pitchers in baseball is Juan Soto's strength as well. So whose strength is truly better there? That's the one that jumps out to me. But, you know, a guy like Francisco Lindor, he's always going to be better the second time he sees a guy. Pete Alonso, always going to be better. Brandon Nimmo, always going to be better. So this veteran, talented lineup for the Mets, that's probably the biggest hurdle against Connor Gillespie.
I'll look the other way here, and that is the Marlin hitters have scored 4 runs against the Mets 3 times. The Mets have not given up 3 runs or more than 3 runs against anybody else this year.
Wow.
In 3 of the 4 games. But in the game yesterday, obviously the Marlins didn't score any runs. They need an early start here in this game. And no mistakes on the base pass.
Yep. I was going to ask you, Craig, what is the key now to stopping all of a sudden a Mets team that's won 5 in a row?
Well, I think you still got to keep these bats down. Don't give them a lot of confidence offensively. And then on the other side, you got to get something going, and nobody's been able to do it. The Marlins, who we mentioned, scored a few runs against them, but generally speaking, the Mets have been unbelievable, especially the bullpen.
Jack, we saw Clay Holmes as well last week. This is a guy, 67% ground ball rate. How do the Marlins adjust and get the ball up in the air against Clay Holmes?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. And I don't know if you can actually do that against his pitch mix if he's executing the way that he does. Like, there's a reason that an all-star closer is an all-star closer. And Clay Holmes was an all-star last year because whether you like it or not, you're going to hit the ball on the ground against him. And does that translate into the starting rotation? Maybe, but I love where the Marlins are at in terms of their plan of attack. We heard Clayton McCullough talk about that. You got to get Clay Holmes up in the zone. You heard Matt Mervis say, we got to get him up. You have to get him up. And what they mean by that is if that sinker is playing at the knees, you want to pretty much lay off of that pitch. You don't just want to hit a little dribbler over to short or second or third or first and call it a day there. You want to make him execute other pitches. If he's missing low, you lay off, and then you bring him up to the belt, and you really get those pitches in your wheelhouse, whether it's the sinker, the sweeper, or that changeup, say he hangs a change. So I think that is the biggest thing here with Clay Holmes. Do not feed into what that guy does best and what made him an all-star in 24.
And we were told in the media availability that the Marlins lead the league in ground ball rate. How about that?
Yeah, and line drive rate too, as we pointed out yesterday. But I think one thing, we've heard this for years, everybody who pitches and the ball goes out of the zone, lay off. I think this team has done a pretty good job this year at doing that, at executing it.
Yeah. Now, granted, I will say, Craig, like, they've seen Senga twice. So both of Kodai Senga's starts have come against the Miami Marlins, but Senga, I don't know if it's designed. He's only gone 5 innings in both of those. Like, it's not like he's working deep into a game. The Marlins have done a really good job of working Senga into difficult situations. I mean, they put 4 runs on him when he came to Miami. That is a really talented starting pitcher. And probably right now, just because we're so early in the Clay Holmes starter journey, like Senga's a better starting pitcher than Clay Holmes.
Sure.
You can throw him out of his game plan. Why can't you throw Clay Holmes out of his game plan this afternoon?
Let's go on the other end here, guys. Craig, particularly with the base running. We know that this Marlins team wants to steal bases. They're younger, they're athletic than they were last year. They're going to be aggressive sometimes to a fault, but there have been a couple of mistakes, particularly early on. They just can't afford to give away outs, especially in potential big innings.
Cost them last night early on again. If they were second and third with one out, I think you felt pretty good the Marlins were going to get 1, 2, or more runs in the first inning. They didn't score a run. They've done this pickoffs at first we've seen, going to third base. A few plays at the plate were not base running mistakes. They were just great execution on the other side.
Yep.
That's different, but you can't make those mistakes, especially third base, picked off at first base. They don't have the overwhelming offense most nights to overcome that.
Couple of lineup changes. I want you guys to give me your pick the stick today, but Xavier Edwards is going to DH. He's still going to lead off. Javier Sanoja will get his first start at shortstop in 2025. He did come in late in the game on March 31st to defensive replace, actually, Xavier Edwards. Who wants to go first here, guys? You guys were hot in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Since I had it the other night, I'm going to give you the first selection.
We were hot, and I liked X to be a table setter a couple of nights ago. But what I will tell you today is I think that the Marlins will do a really good job of baiting Holmes into the center of the plate. And a guy that is one of the better on-base threats in the Marlins lineup right now is Kyle Stowers. Stowers is getting on base at a 4.
My guy.
No, I won't ask who your guy is. You're holding your guy. But like Kyle Stowers is a guy that, I know it's only been 9-10 games for him, but he's getting on base at a 4.10 clip. This guy is seeing a lot of pitches, and I figure he's going to be patient. He's going to be patient. He's going to wait. He's going to wait. And then all of a sudden, he's going to get that pitch center cut. I think he drives one, and I think he waits out Clay Holmes.
Well, he has 3 walks against Holmes, by the way, career-wise.
Yes, he does. I'm going with the guy who made the defensive play of the game last night, Griffin Conine, 2 for 3 against Holmes in his young career. He's had a good start. I don't think he's a great start, but he's been solid. Obviously, in the field, he's been great. Griffin Conine is your pick.
We reveal Steve's guarantees next. Don't you move a muscle. 4:10 first pitch. Thank you guys very much. You'll hear Craigie. Do you have something to say, Craigie?
No, I think he's just pointing. I think he's just got the finger
I'm
up.
freezing.
He had to put the finger up, so I
I'm
didn't
not
know if you had
moving a
something to
muscle.
say. Very good. Okay, Jack, Craig, thank you. We'll hear at 4:10. We'll break here on the Marlins Radio Network.
Hey, it's the Good Greek Spiro.
Guy slugged over 400, had a 290 batting average. And he's kind of picking up where he left off last year. 1-0 pitch. Edwards hits that deep enough. Out to left. Ji-Wan Bae underneath. He makes the catch. Fortes trying it. Ji-Wan Bae's throw coming home. And it's a little bit offline. Fortes comes in to score. And he ties the game at 1. Inning. Runs may come in here in the 6th. Marlins threatening. And Derek Hill lines one out to right center field. Sawinski on his horse. He won't get there. That one hops over the wall, and it's an RBI double to tie the game at 2. Any ball in the outfield. X is scoring, and that one is soft liner into center for a base hit. X coming around. Cruz's throw is coming home, and the same mistake from opening day. Otto Lopez takes second base. X was scoring no problem. He can fly, and the opportunistic Otto Lopez not only ties this game, but is now in scoring position.
Well, you've got
Santa Rosa Junior College, 20th round pick of the Royals in 2016. And Sawinski cracks one out to left field. The newly inserted left fielder Conine is back. Warning track and the wall. He leaps. Griffin Conine makes the grab. You're kidding me. He took a homer away from Sawinski. Pitch, that's rolled right side, that's through for a base hit. Pham gonna try it from third. Throw coming home from Myers. It's on line. Hicks swipes the tag, and they got him. No! In the bottom of the 7th, it's an RBI single from Otto Lopez to tie it at 3. 1-2 pitch, that's rolled right side, that's through for a base hit. Pham gonna try it from third. Throw coming
On deck, ready to hit it out of the home ownership park for you. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLC ID number 174475. About 13 minutes away from first pitch from Citi Field, 44 degrees here in the Big Apple. We got our big jackets on. Of course, us Miamians are very soft out here. I was a Jersey guy myself. That has obviously changed with my turtleneck and my 2 jackets. It is very windy here as well. But we proceed with baseball. Second to final game on this road trip for the Marlins. They split in Atlanta. They were rained out on Sunday. They did lose yesterday to the New York Mets, and now looking to bounce back and beat New York with Connor Gillespie on the mound going opposite Clay Holmes. I'm Steven Schramm, the host of the program. Craig Minervini and Jack McMullen, those two have your call at 4:10. Let's get to our X-Poll question of today at Marlins Radio. Who is the all-time Mets home run leader? Make sure to vote at Marlins Radio. Let's try this thing again. It's time for Steve's Guarantee.
Batter up. Batter up.
Let's play some ball.
First pitch is moments away. Time now for Steve's Guarantees.
Excellent job, Ricardo, back in the studio. Stowers, and I didn't copy these guys. They just, maybe great minds think alike, I guess. Kyle Stowers and Griffin Conine, 3+ hits, 2+ RBIs combined. We talked about Stowers. He's 1 for 2 against Holmes with 3 walks. He's seeing them well. Griffin Conine was 2 for 3 against Holmes as well last week. I like these two to, I think, kickstart this offense. Remember, we saw the Marlins get shut out on Monday against Atlanta, able to bounce back and win 5-0. We'll see if Miami can get off to a good start in this first inning in particular and get to Holmes and maybe try to draw some walks early. We saw Holmes struggle with that against Houston in his first start. Folks, I hope you got the itch for first pitch because when we come back, Jack McMullen paints a picture. Craig Minervini, he's ready to rock. Starting lineups in first pitch is right around the corner. Thanks for tuning in to the Marlins On Deck pregame show. I'm Steven Strom. Let's flip the M together, Miami. Marlins baseball is next. This is the Marlins Radio Network.